Hello, hello from sunny Thailand. Today I want to share with you something that came to me when I was deep in a self-critical part of my day, where I was really beginning to criticize myself, my faults, my mistakes, my humanness. So in the last two Facebook Lives, I've been pretty intense in my message, and it can be easy to begin to be harsh and judgmental of ourselves. Like, gosh, if we're creating everything, then what, I must be a bad person or something like that. And that really is not the case. It's just that we've lost our knowledge of the fact that we are powerful creators and that the secret thoughts within also create. But rather than focus too much on that right now, what I want to do is offer a self-blessing, because what's really, really important right now is that we activate the frequency of love in our lives. And when I say that, I don't just mean self-love and acceptance, although that is key. I don't just mean love of our families, our children, our parents, our spouses, although that's important too. I mean love as a frequency, love in the sense of a recognition that we are all one. Ultimately, in the eternal nature of our divine beings, we are all one, and the energy of that oneness, that unity, that divinity is a frequency we could call love. We could call it, in the Buddhist tradition, it would be called metta, or loving kindness. Loving kindness is more the enactment of this frequency. So when I say love, I say it recognizing that in our English language, we don't have fine enough distinctions for that word. However, that being said, there's a frequency of love. And that frequency has to do with the recognition of our oneness. It has to do with the unconditional acceptance of self and others. It has to do with the ability to hold the space of compassion, even when we see things that our judging self would judge as terrible, to see beyond that into the suffering that is beneath cruelty or unkindness or errors in action. So, self-blessing. So the intention of a self-blessing is to begin the process of reactivating the frequency of love by reclaiming our own ability to love and accept ourselves without condition. It's a harsh world we live in, and we're shamed from the time we're very young to toe the line, to get in line, to behave. We're shamed, we're berated, we're criticized in order to fit in. And that sets up a psyche that has a lot of self-criticism, typically. So the self-blessing is an enactment, an intention setting in order to begin to shift that frequency. So what you want to do is think about someone that you do love or something that you do love. Begin to draw up the feelings of love and delight and joy and playfulness and that innocence of youth. For me, my go-to, like if things are really difficult for me and I have I'm like, my frequency, my energy, my thoughts are so negative right now, I can't possibly think of something that could shift me right now. I think of puppies. I do. I actually think of little puppies on their backs and rubbing their bellies. So puppy bellies are it's like my go-to thing, no matter what's going on. If I could think about a little puppy and rubbing its little belly and how cute it is, it does the trick for me every time. So you may have to do a little inner research to figure out, okay, what's my go-to no matter what? If I think about this thing, it's gonna help me to raise up delight and joy and love and kindness in my heart and my field. So you activate those feelings. You begin to activate the feelings of love and care and affection in a way that doesn't trigger you. So for example, you may love your husband or you may love your kids, we all do, but they may also trigger some other things, some frustration or concern or worry or something like that. So if that's happening, it's not the right thing. It may be something else. It may be like, excuse me, I have a hair in my mouth. I have a special place in Sedona where I go, and I call it my secret sacred place, to meditate and to connect with the earth. So that would be another possibility for me if I didn't have puppy bellies. So something where it really is just, it helps you raise up your good feelings, and you just begin to think about it and start breathing so that it's like use your imagination to imagine that you are breathing that thought, that thing that brings the good feelings. You're breathing all of that into yourself. So you're breathing and you're thinking that thought, whatever those things are, puppy bellies or sacred places or someone you love, to rise up those feelings. And as you're breathing, you imagine that it's these feelings are saturating your being. They're saturating you on the energetic level, but they're also saturating you in the bones and the blood. And your every part of you, all your organs are being saturated with this good feeling. So when you feel that sense of like saturation, you'll begin to notice your energy is rising. It's subtle, right? It's a subtle thing, but so you might have your eyes closed, just breathing, just allowing your good feelings to fill you up. And when you feel that filled up sensation, then what you want to do is tune into whatever the thing is in your life that you're criticizing yourself about. So I'll be very honest with you here. At 52, my body is beginning to age, and I was an athlete for many years. So there's some things that are difficult for me. I don't exercise as much. I'm mostly a professional writer and coach. I sit down a lot. And so I've gained some weight. So that's been hard for me. And what I realize is like hating on my body is really antithetical to everything that I stand for, and it'll probably age me even faster. So for me, I put my hands on my belly and I began to pour love and acceptance to my belly. I love you. I accept you. I love you. I accept you. So that was a physical example, but it could be a situation. So it could be that you had an encounter with someone at work and you are now really beating yourself up for the way you acted. You have a lot of criticism or negativity about your interaction and how you dealt with it. Or maybe you didn't deal with it at all and you're judging yourself because you didn't stand up for yourself. Whatever it is. Once you raise up those loving feelings, then you're going to imagine yourself next to yourself in that situation. And you're going to like wrap that love around you in that situation or in that memory, whatever it is, and pour love onto yourself there. Pour a blessing of love onto yourself in that situation. I love you. I forgive you. I accept you as who you are. I know that you are a child of the divine. It's okay. We make mistakes. I love you. You are perfect. You are forgiven before you sin. Whatever your language is, pour those love feelings on that part of yourself or to that memory or whatever it is. So, and you may want to do this with 2 or 3 things in one sitting. It's really up to you what feels right for you. I mean, this could be as short as a 2 or 3 minute process. You just raise up those feelings, feel yourself saturated with the good, loving feelings, and then pull up or touch the body part if it's a body part. If it's your mind that's just driving you crazy, you can go like this gently and pour those good, loving feelings like a blessing, like a balm of love into that situation, that memory, that part of your body, whatever it is. So this self-blessing, I feel, is really, really critical at this time in our lives. because we are so divided within our minds. We are so, many of us are really, really struggling to step out of judgment. Many of us aren't even struggling with it. We're just stuck in it. We're just busy judging everything else. This is wrong, and this is wrong, and that is wrong, and I hate this, and I hate that, and I hate this. But many of us are just simply like recognizing, like, wow, I'm not happy with my life. I'm struggling too much, and this situation or this life or the way the planet has gone or my country is not what it used to be. All of those things require love in the situation. And I don't mean fluffy love like, oh, let's all kumbaya and hold hands. I mean the personal responsibility of returning to the frequency of love instead of the frequency of fear and hate. Because we are creating this. We are creating this collectively. So when we run the frequencies of fear, hate, alienation, separation, and judgment toward ourselves or toward others, we perpetuate the fear, hate, alienation, war, and violence that's going on the planet. It doesn't mean that this is all we do, but we must return to love within ourselves. We must activate the frequency of love within our beings in order to be in any service at all to making a positive change. And it begins with blessing the self, loving and accepting the self. Again, that's not the only thing we do, but it's a key piece of the puzzle. And it's a piece you're never going to hear about in mainstream media. You're not going to hear it in a lot of places. But it's extremely important that we return to love and that we begin to bless and love and accept ourselves unconditionally so that we are free of all those judgments of ourselves, so we can begin to shine our light, not to foist it on others, but just to shine our light and be a force of love and light on the planet. And so with that, I invite each of you, anytime you're in any kind of struggle, and maybe even if you're not, you just feel like it, rise up, bring up those feelings of love and pour it into whatever part of your life needs it. So with that, I bid you adieu and wish you a beautiful, beautiful day with much love. Mwah.